Welcome to Breathe Wellness by Bethany. Today we're going to be talking about breathwork guidelines. This is a resource for you if you plan on utilizing any of our breathwork offerings now or in the future. Breathwork is a really powerful and useful tool for physical, emotional, and spiritual healing. Because of that, there's a few things that you should know. First things first, it is a contraindicated, which means not suggested, practice if you have a heart condition, epilepsy, or are currently pregnant. If you're interested in still utilizing breathwork as a self-care tool, we suggest doing the deep belly breath, and you can do it along to our practices, but not using the conscious connected breath that we'll be using in our practices. Of course, also if you have any physical ailment, we suggest consulting with your doctor before beginning any breathwork practice. Same thing if you're under the care of a therapist and are moving through emotional trauma. We suggest checking in with your therapist to make sure that this is a practice for you. This is a very powerful practice and it can bring up a lot physically and emotionally. And it's important to just make sure that you're in a space to be able to do so. Other things to note about breathwork. It is a practice that will facilitate physical and sometimes emotional reactions. Physically, you might experience things like tingling in the body. You might experience a dry mouth. You might experience something called tetany, which is cramping or clawing of the hands. And these things are all happening because of the exchange of oxygen and CO2 through the body. If you are experiencing dry mouth, we suggest just bringing the tongue to the roof of the mouth to hydrate, or of course, keeping water nearby and taking a sip should you need it. If you are feeling tingling, just knowing that it's normal and not letting it be something that derails your practice. You may also feel pressure or lightheadedness. This is normal again, and this is because of the influx of circulation moving through the body. If ever it feels like too much, or like you need a break, take a break, and you could always move into the deep belly breath that I spoke about in the beginning, which is a slow, luxurious, deep breath in through the nose, exhale through the mouth. You know your body best, and you're in charge of your own body through these practices. If ever something doesn't feel right, then we suggest you stop. If you have any questions about these practices or looking for more one-on-one support through them, you can reach out to us at our Instagram, breathe_wellness_by_Bethany_. Another thing you might want to note for these practices is it's important to hydrate before and after. This is the detoxifying process, and the more that we can flush those toxins that are released in the process out, the better. Water and being hydrated helps us do that. I also suggest keeping a notebook nearby. Oftentimes, breathwork will bring up a surplus of feelings, but also creativity, and it's nice to have a notebook to jot things down, and sometimes we forget about them right after the practice. We also suggest giving yourself time to rest after utilizing one of these practices, especially these longer practices. This is not something you want to do when you have 10 more things on your to-do list for the day. You want to give yourself space and time to reintegrate back into your day and back into your regular routine. You also want to make sure that as you're breathing, there isn't any forced breathing. While this is a vigorous breath, it shouldn't feel uncomfortable or painful. And if it is, we suggest you stop and go back to the deep belly breathing. We will work with a breath called the conscious connected breath. And this will be explained to you in your breathwork practices, but just a quick overview before that. Conscious connected breathing works with mouth breathing. So you're inhaling through your mouth and exhaling through your mouth, but on a loop. So as you exhale, you're breathing right back in. Also, as you inhale, you're inhaling as if you're sipping through a straw, exhaling gently and just kind of releasing the exhale through the mouth, but then inhaling right back in. So that might sound like this. If this is a completely new breathing technique for you, give yourself some time and space to get used to it. It is a powerful tool to have. Doing these breathwork practices once a week, once a month, whatever works for you, is a really great way to add in some self-care, and it has a lot of health benefits. So thank you for being here, and make sure you like and subscribe. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being.